Welcome to Grolix Nights, the Grolix Podcast live show. I'm Randy.
I'm Melanie.
And I'm Jesse.
What's going on, everybody? How are you two doing?
I'm all right.
Well, it's 8:30, so you know, we're live. I'm anticipating a laid-back, relaxed, chilled-out show.
With my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
I hope that's what you're all after, because that's what you're getting. I hear a lot of weird noise.
Oh, it's probably nice.
Oh, what was that?
That was the upstairs bathroom.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's all good. So we haven't been watching too much. I'll have a couple things to talk about. We'll run through that. Yeah, that's right. Chillaxin'. What's going on, Savannah? Other than that, there's some news, some entertainment news, including a bunch of stuff about James Gunn, because apparently, I'm guessing he did he's been all over Twitter, and he did an interview recently, and people are ramping up for Suicide Squad, so bunch of James Gunn news. And then also a bunch of updates on, like, the streaming wars, the battle for streaming service supremacy.
Seems like there was a bunch of, like, Marvel stuff, too. Like, does She-Hulk trailer drop, and then the Shang-Chi trailer dropped, and then...
I did not see the She-Hulk trailer. Interesting. I do have the Shang-Chi trailer listed. I think we all watched those.
I haven't seen the She-Hulk thing either, so it may just be like a teaser or whatever, a sting.
Gotcha.
A sting?
A sting. Just like a...
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what that looks like.
Right.
You gonna have Daredevil in there? You gonna do a little law?
That would be awesome.
Lawyer.
That would be awesome. Even if they just had Foggy Nelson like next door.
Right.
That would be almost better if it wasn't like Matt Murdock. It was just like Foggy Nelson walks in to a room, into a bar.
Mm-hmm.
And then goes
He's
out.
the more likable character anyway.
And Howard the Duck's just like, wow! Because that's how he does.
Savannah says she made Melanie start a show, and I have a feeling, listen, censors or whoever might be offended by sound, what she's about to say is not a swear. What show did Savannah start make you watch, Melanie?
Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
And my opinion of it is it's like Arrested Development, except not. It's pretty good. I still think Arrested Development is better, but I've already finished that too, so I'm probably partial to it because of years of watching. But it wasn't too bad. It was pretty good.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know. I've only I think ever heard good things about it, but it just doesn't look that interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminded me, like, Melanie and I fell down a, I don't know, very shallow rabbit hole, I guess. Basically, we were watching, something we have been watching. We started watching The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh, Holly watches that.
It's good.
It has Hiddleston in it, too.
Does it? Oh. It's depressing a little.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, Melanie, why do you want to watch this? But anyway, point is, how I got there was, it's got several cast members from Mad Men, and I was like, never watched Mad Men. I know it was like huge, like Mad Men, Breaking Bad, and Walking Dead like built what people think of as modern, like the AMC channel or whatever.
Sure.
And Melanie's like, I don't even know what it is, which is surprising to me that she doesn't even know what it is. It seems like it was advertised constantly while it was running. It's been concluded since. So I was like, well, let's look here's some trailers for like season 1. And, it's supposed to be good. Maybe we'll check it out sometime. And watch the trailers, and I was like, yeah, okay. That's why I've never watched it. Like, I'm sure it's amazing. It
Mhm.
just doesn't. Something about it just doesn't grab me.
I don't think it's the time frame or the kind of material that interests you really. If I mean, I guess some of the characters said some kind of good stuff in the trailer. This is all we watched, but but it seemed kind of businessy and boring, and businessy is boring to me, I should say. So if they did a little bit of outrageousness, especially the chicks, if the chicks had done something good or funny or outrageous besides look like they're sleeping the way to the top, which it wasn't that outrageous, I guess, necessarily for the time period, or even now maybe, but that's not something that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch that.
I mean, I've always heard it's the
Pee in
writing's
somebody's
really
coffee, then I'll watch it. Okay.
ew. I've always heard the writing was really good and the characters were great. Again, we're talking about Mad Men. We've
Yeah.
never seen it, and it was just I don't know. I just brought it up because I figured there'd be somebody out there who's like, "You've never watched Mad Men?" But they're apparently not in our audience, so it's fine. Handmaid's Tale is really good though. It's super. We're only in season 1. I know it's been going for. I think there's 4 seasons of it, 3, 4, something like that. It's a frustrating kind of show.
Right. Well, and I mean, like, it's timely, like a lot of shows are now.
Yeah, especially I don't know how long ago it came out because I know it's not brand new, but the beginning of it, how the people that have control was that somebody, went and killed Congress, and I was like, oh, wow.
And then it was deemed a terrorist act, and then
Yeah.
martial law was. I was like, was somebody like trying to make this their playbook, or like trying to use this as a playbook, and it just didn't work?
Right.
Because,
And somebody was looking at martial law
Mhm.
under under the advice of a My Pillow guy. I don't know what I'm talking about.
How is that guy still in the news? He's the only one.
Because
on
he's
about it.
creating his own platform. He tried to create his own social media platform. Everybody that wants frank speech, that's going real well.
Oh yeah, no, they were frank speech, except like no
Except
swearing,
you can't swear. You
no
can't.
hate,
Yeah.
like you can't threaten violence, no whatever. Like it's more restricted than
Yeah.
normal anyway.
Mhm.
Hey Dana, what's
Oh,
going
you thought
on?
frank, like honest. No, we mean like Frank, this guy.
He's there.
He's
It's just
he's
him.
a staunch Catholic, and you can offend him easily unless you're racist. That doesn't bother him.
Hey Dana, what's going on? Dana says I've never watched Mad Men, but Handmaid's Tale. I think I was saying it wrong the whole time. Is super good. Cheers. I heard what sounded like a clink, so
It was. I don't know how that happened.
it's a
Too
party.
many glasses next to my computer.
I want to know from people who have watched Handmaid's Tale farther than we have, does somebody get stabbed? Because I'm really waiting for somebody to get stabbed.
I'm
And
waiting
if
for
they
so many
don't,
characters to get stabbed.
There's definitely some violence. I don't even watch the show, but there is definitely some violence.
okay, good. There better be.
It needs to be better violence,
Yeah.
different violence to other. Okay, let's get on to other things. Jesse, you got anything? You been watching anything? I know you've been super busy. Just
Like
in
a
general with other stuff.
basically, I've just been watching more of the same. I think I mentioned last time that I started The Watchmen, and so I've just watched a couple more episodes. I think I'm up to, well, I know I'm up to Looking Glass's origin episode, and then like that ends in a super bizarre fashion where you're like, oh, what's all this now?
Mm-hmm. Watchmen's good. It is fun to watch with somebody so you can discuss as you go. I am definitely excited to hear what you think of it once you finish the season, because it seems like a one and done series.
Sure.
Or at least the show runner had said that he didn't have any ideas, and
Right.
no plans.
It's
for
run
more
its course.
seasons.
That's all I had.
That's not to say HBO couldn't. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty sure it's pretty clear they're not going to. But that's not. HBO could have totally like, okay, well, I mean, this is still our show, so we're gonna bring on this guy. And
I was just say I would be careful what we wish for in that department, because remember True Detective.
right,
Oh, yeah.
right.
Remember how
right.
good the first season was, and
Mhm.
then I heard nothing good about season 2, so I didn't bother.
And then Colin Farrell. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had started after a long time. I had started the second season. I didn't get very far. Not that what was there was bad. It just, man, it didn't have what made, at least what I was looking for in True Detective. It didn't have what made the first season so appealing. On its own, I'm sure it's cool. Oh yeah, Savannah pointed out What We Do in the Shadows lost Jermaine Clement.
Which was that?
Let me pull up.
It's not Guillermo, right?
No.
Okay, because I love Guillermo.
I love that Guillermo's the one. It's like, it's not Guillermo, right? I don't care about any of the vampires. What about Guillermo?
Well, I like the vampires too, but Guillermo's fun, and he's got.
It would be tough to move on without at least 3 vampires.
Yeah.
Okay, here. I'll share a screen. It's this guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which is interesting because his character is not like, his character is kind of part of a package deal. Aside from his involvement with the, writing, or I don't know how involved he was in the writing, but I know he had to do with, I'm curious if the show will change also, other than just his character not being there. But yeah, Savannah seemed very upset. She messaged me
Wait,
about
who
that
is
a little
this?
while ago.
Who's this character?
I was to say he's not on the show. He's
Wait.
Fly the Conchords. He was in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I
I'm like, I
kept thinking he was.
I kept looking at him. And I'm like, is he in the show?
Oh, I kept thinking he was the husband guy, because the husband guy seems like that character from the movie to me. Although I know they're not the same characters.
Right.
The guy, the husband
Delete.
guy's too chubby to be that guy. No offense to chubby, because I'm chubby, but he is.
Oh, well. This episode's.
Is he Brett in Fly the Conchords?
I wasn't wrong. You guys misremembered.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in that.
Still, though, his humor is like, I'm sure, tightly woven into the show.
You can't trust anything I say now.
Savannah says he was the big boss's son on the IT Crowd. I did not watch that. Neither did Randy. Neither one.
That's a Savannah show. She has very particular taste. We finished Primal. I don't have too much to say about it. Primal season 1. I think just the last episode I was excited because they had finally dropped the second half of season 1 on HBO Max. And we finished it. And I won't really get into spoilers. It does seem like there's going to be season 2. That's exciting. The show creator says that season 2 will drop this year. He promises or something, which is cool. But so I won't really get into spoilers. But there's one thing about the show that I really like, that I say every time I mention the show that I really liked about it. And I'm not gonna say what it is because they broke it. They broke that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they did. He was so disappointed too. Well, I'm not saying what it is either, but while we were watching it, he's like, "Don't do it! Don't do it!"
I know they're gonna do it, and they did it. They broke it. No, they didn't break it. It's still. I'm still excited for season 2. The show is amazing, but if you haven't, go stream Primal. And I was unsure of where it came from. when we talked about it last time. It is an Adult Swim show, but Cartoon Network, except it's got violence, so Adult Swim.
Right.
And not just violence, just
Do they still have Adult Swim? I haven't watched Cartoon Network in so long.
I don't know.
It's basically Rick and Morty, right?
Oh, right. I mean, that's probably no wonder they signed for X amount of seasons at once. They're like, you're all we have now.
Right. They should have put a time limit on it though, and been like, you cannot Venture Brothers us.
Right.
Or Metalocalypse.
Right.
On which side? I know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that goes. Their Adult Swim's deals with shows have always been so weird, but I'm not sure which side of the deal ends up kind of screwing up some shows, because there's a lot of shows that they would carry that were like that would just like get stuck in limbo at some point. It's like, oh no, it's still coming. It's there's gonna be more, and then it just 7 years later they're like, you know what? No, it's not happening. Like, oh,
well, and it doesn't hurt that like was it Mark Harmon?
Yeah.
Something Harmon.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon. Okay. It doesn't hurt that he like has another show for Hulu or something, like some alien show or something.
Oh, I don't think it's Dan Harmon. It's the other guy, the other creator who does the voices.
Justin, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it the dog guy?
Or
The guy that had the "What if dogs were people" one? Remember? Never mind. Ignore me.
We're all off on this show. We're all off. And we just lost 2 viewers. Okay. You know, there's some days when I'm like, maybe we should cancel the stream. And then I'm like, nah, it'll be fine.
then we push through and we're like, oh.
Oh, I regret. I feel worse now. It would have felt better if we'd have just not done it. Okay. Nope. We're getting energy.
Wait until we get into the news. That always revs us up. You faithful listener, watcher, you.
Savannah.
Yeah.
But
Savannah.
we got to hurry. She's only good for about 45 minutes. Then she's out. All right. Mark Harmon is on NCIS. And had that movie with Christy Alley. Summer School.
I was way off.
But he also Mark Harmon was also in, was it Chicago Hope?
I don't know. I didn't watch that.
And he played Jeffrey Dahmer, I think, in a TV movie or something. That was like one of his first big things where people were like, who's this guy? He's a sexy cannibal.
The only thing I remember him from was that one summer school movie where like he didn't want to be there and nobody wanted to be there, and he took him to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then like was somebody else's Lamaze coach and took somebody to driver's ed, and then they all passed and loved him, whatever. It's old.
Okay, well, moving on. The Platform. Hey, that's the movie. We watched it.
Oh yeah.
Randomly. Melanie, I was like, Melanie, she was over, and I was like, what should we watch? Let's watch a movie. What kind of thing you want to watch? And she's like, I want to watch something like The Matrix, which was a very random poll. And I was like, okay. So I did a Google search. I was like, movies like The Matrix. And we went through a whole bunch of stuff and had seen a bunch. Some of them looked crap. And then it spit The Platform out at us, which is, Savannah said, I literally just talked about that movie. Interesting. It's on Netflix. It's from 2019. It is not like The Matrix. At all.
Yeah, no, it's not really like The Matrix.
I guess I kind of get what I don't know. Yeah, it's not. It's, if you were looking for something like The Matrix.
It's a mind-bending sci-fi horror or something, right?
I guess. Mind-bending sci-fi thing, I guess, but it's definitely not. I think if somebody was looking for something like The Matrix, whatever. Maybe it is. You know what? Because we found it. We're looking for something like The Matrix, and I really liked it. It is, what is it? It seemed French. It's probably French.
It's like a YouTube suggestion version of that kind of thing. Like, you just got done watching this video. Here's a video about this.
Oh, maybe it's
Yeah.
Spanish. From Spain, maybe. I don't know. But it's I'll just read the overview real quick from themoviedb.org. Pull up the screen. A mysterious place, an indescribable prison, a deep hole. That's a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
An unknown number of levels. 2 inmates living on each level. A descending platform containing food for all of them. An inhuman fight for survival, but also an opportunity for solidarity. That's the overview.
Yeah, that's
So basically, it is this weird like prison, but also like you can just, it's not necessarily just a prison. You can just like opt to go there.
mm-hmm. Like the main character was like, yeah, I'm going to do it for, I forget how many months.
It's like 6 months.
And then he'll get an accredited degree.
Right. And the thing is, like, every month you're put on a different floor, and there's, oh, I bumped my mic, sorry. And there's, tons of different floors, and then there's a platform that starts at the top, and it's full of, like, super fancy food, and it's just full of it. And then it goes down a level and stops for a moment, and then it goes down, stops, goes down, and it does that. And, like, clearly there's not, by the time, there's not enough food to get through all the levels.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the premise. It's like, well, how do you navigate that? Like, you can't take food and keep it after it leaves your level.
Mm-hmm.
So you can only eat while it's on your level. And yeah, I mean, at a certain point, the movie starts and they're on floor 48 or something,
Mm-hmm.
our main character. And like, it's just disgusting looking, basically leftovers, and there's food there, but not a lot. And they make it look so, like, the movie does such a good job at making this platform of food look disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for the squeamish. It's pretty brutal. It's brutal. It's gross. It gets into cannibalism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like he was saying, they started on the 48th level, and there was nothing there really, but like
there's like hundreds
of floors,
hundreds of floors below them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty insane. It was good. I liked it. I liked it as a kind of a weird sci-fi premise. Yeah, it looks so gross. Oh. It's so gross. Also, something I don't know why, something that didn't really occur to me is the fact that, like, this is some magic stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just a slab of, like, stone that floats.
Maybe it's got metal in it or something magnetic, and they use, like one of those trains that.
Oh, like a, electromagnetic thing.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
But for the most part, Savannah says it's screwed up and good. Yeah, yeah, it's a symbolism movie, and it's not subtle with its symbolism, but also by the end it gets obscure enough that I was like, but what are they saying? Like, I get the point. It's pretty obvious, the setup, like the general idea is not, like I said, it's not subtle, but it's also it's vague enough about what it's saying, that the end will just be like, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I get it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I thought
me too.
Good.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Handmaid's Tale and The Platform.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we've watched.
And Primal.
Yeah. So basically,
super depressing.
There was a certain point where I was like, why? I think, Melanie, you're even like, sorry, I keep making you watch depressing things. I'm like, I don't know, man. We're just watching shows. But yeah, it was all very depressing.
Mm-hmm. But good. It was also good still.
Right. Maybe that's why our show has this energy. We'll watch something happy next time, I swear.
I like Happy too. That's a good show.
Happy. I wish there was more Happy. At least it ended like they kind of knew there was potential they weren't coming back. So
Yeah.
watch Happy. It's also kind of a downer at times. It's got a kidnapping Santa, but you know what? Does it have? It's probably got cannibalism too. I don't know. Everything does anymore.
All the
Does
good
it?
stuff, right?
Yeah, only the good stuff.
Well,
Okay.
I do think it's the future. We're also gonna start eating people steaks made from ourselves, so we don't have to eat animals.
I don't like that idea. I think that's a
They'll
bad
just
idea.
clone our flesh so we can eat.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yummy. So,
Okay. Sorry, I had to kind of mute my mic for a moment. Let's do some news.
All right.
I'm getting more and more disappointed with us, with myself as we go. Yeah, it's that kind of show. It's a self-loathing show.
Welcome to the self-loathing nights.
Yeah. No, it's coming up. Millhouse. Okay. James Gunn reveals the Suicide Squad is completely finished and, more unusually, had no reshoots.
Whoa.
Which is an interesting detail that I'm sure is like, we got it. There's no reshoots, just so people know. But actually,
That didn't work for the New Mutants, though.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
that's exactly the thing. He actually goes on to say, so basically, whatever Den of Geek News had tweeted, I forgot to segue into our segment. Twitter is the new, what did we used to call it?
Well,
React
Twitter,
to
yeah.
news,
Because news is just tweets, essentially.
Yeah.
He had retweeted a Den of Geek News thing talking about their magazine that it's all about Suicide Squad and blah 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 blah. But where did it go? He followed up that tweet with, is this article not even going to talk about it? Here we go. Quote, by the way, we completely finished the movie this week, visual effects and all. Can't wait for you all to see it. We didn't do a single shot of pickups or any post-production shooting. Outside of Chris Nolan, that almost never happens, if at all, on tentpole superhero films. So yeah, he's saying like, not only were there no reshoots, no pickups, no nothing. He's like, it's weird. Usually that's not the case, even when things go like normal.
Yeah.
Savannah, I just noticed Savannah's comment. Yes, self-loathing nihilists.
That kind of sums up the show, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, I don't know.
Welcome to the show, folks. We're all gonna die, and this is kind of pointless.
If it doesn't, God, if that doesn't come across on stream most times, that's what's happening behind the scenes. I'll tell you that. We're happy people.
It reminds me of the other day. I don't remember what we were doing, but I'm living like Mr. Peanut Butter says. Whether just distract yourself with unimportant nonsense, and eventually you'll be dead. Key to happiness.
Yep. BoJack Horseman. There's a show we should have thrown into our
right
binge of things. I do like BoJack Horseman. We haven't finished it. I think the series is finished.
It is.
But it's just you got to pace yourself on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Also, when it's over, it's over.
Exactly. That's why the Invincible comic book series will never end. 'Cause I haven't read the last issue yet.
Right.
I need to, I know, but man, it's still going. Actually, no, I need to read it because I'm just so worried about where it leaves it. Because where I left off, you can't not leave that series on a downer. Because that's how Kirkman does.
Right.
His idea of cliffhanger is we're gonna destroy your heart, and you're gonna want to have to come back to hope it gets better.
Right.
Okay, so speaking of James Gunn, he's gonna save the DC universe.
He might. I mean,
nobody's saying that, but there is a lot of James Gunn hype going on, like I said at the beginning of the show. So this is actually part of this ties into news that from like 2 weeks ago that I didn't know. But cinemablend.com. Oh, by the way, that last article was from Collider. Cinemablend.com says, sounds like Suicide Squad's James Gunn has more ideas for DC projects.
Ooh.
So from a
So
tweet.
he's not Marvel exclusive, eh?
No, he's not. He's definitely not. And I'm guessing you might have heard the news, but this ties into a story that I totally missed from like 2 weeks ago. But he was asked if there were more DC stories for him to tell, and he responded with, "I'm already more than halfway through shooting a season of a TV's first season, so there's definitely more on the horizon."
Wow.
It's this Peacemaker spin-off series. I had not heard this.
The John Cena character?
John Cena TV series. I'm assuming for HBO Max. James Gunn's producing, probably directing some of it, but he's not directing all of it because there is also another story. And this comes from monstersandcritics.com, which I'm not familiar with, but I'll give them a chance until they prove me wrong. DC's Peacemaker HBO Max series, there you go, HBO Max, adds another Marvel director. And the long and short of it is the second Marvel director that has joined the series is Jessica Jones director Rosemary Rodriguez announced on her website's biography that she's working on James Gunn's Peacemaker for HBO Max. So, one of the directors that had worked on Jessica Jones and perhaps wrote it. Oh, she directed 2 episodes of Jessica Jones.
Which ones were they? The good ones?
She had also there was it looks like a season 2 episode and a season 1 episode. She had also directed an episode of The Tick for Amazon Prime. 3 episodes of The Walking Dead. And yeah, whatever, she does TV director, because like Walking Dead, for example, she did a season 9 episode, a season 8 episode, and a season 1 episode. So like, whatever. It's kind of but the reason I even mention this story is because this gets into more details about this series. Peacemaker, played by John Cena.
Which Savannah is calling her shot, that this show is going to suck because John Cena sucks.
Does he? He just seems like John Cena. I don't have the I know he's kind of a meme celebrity,
Right?
But
right.
Like I don't have the wrestling background thing, so I don't know. Whatever. I've heard the song.
I like him okay.
I know the meme.
In movies. I mean, like he's not great in movies, but he's also kind of funny and fun sometimes.
Right, he seems
Depends
okay.
on what role you put him in.
He seems like John Cena.
Are there any wrestlers that are great in movies, really, though?
The Rock has gotten better when the role fits The Rock. The Rock is pretty good.
The Rock is The Rock.
Right.
Well,
and that's why I say John Cena seems like John Cena. He's
right.
Capable, very charismatic. Just they're who they are. They're not like doing deep characters, right?
Right. Like John Cena's thing, it seems like, is he can somehow, he's this big, bulky, muscular doofus that affects a straight man sometimes. It's weird. It's jarring.
Right. Guardians of the Galaxy, that is it. Slither. Get your stuff straight. Slither, we went on about it last episode. We will preach
that's right, we did.
Slither every episode.
I love Slither.
Forget your Guardians of the Galaxy. That's mainstream pleb gun. We need Slither up in here. Or whatever he worked on for Tromaville back in the day. Troma movies. Yeah, he started Troma, man. I love that.
That's great.
Yeah. Here's another random, not all that new news. Oh, no, this... Okay, well, the casting announcement is new. It seems like it was already a given, but My Spy is Chloe Coleman joins Chris Pine in untitled Dungeons and Dragons movie, and the main thing here being there's a Dungeons and Dragons movie being made. I
Right.
didn't know that.
Well, interestingly enough, it's got Chris Pine, so
Right.
like you'd hope that the script would be pretty good to pull somebody like that in.
Right.
I don't know.
Or at least the money's real good because.
But I mean, like, that's misleading because Jamie Foxx is also like can be a pretty serious actor, and he was on one of those. So
Right. So Chloe Coleman, I don't know her. She's like, I don't know. She's like 12 or something. So there's going to be a child character that it tells us that in Chris Pine. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, here we go. Here's some more information. Obviously, based on the game franchise from Wizards of the Coast. Wait, it's Hasbro's wildly popular. Oh, Hasbro owns
Wizards of the Coast. Yeah,
When did that happen, or has that just always kind of been?
it's been a minute.
Oh, okay. Weird. I didn't know that.
Hasbro started buying up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't they own like all the game stuff?
They own Star Wars now, at least the toys.
Oh, the really the licensing.
Yeah.
Thing? Interesting. Okay. Well, the film will also star Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Justice Smith, Bridgerton star Regine Page. I don't know. I'm not saying that right. Hugh Grant and Sophia Lillis.
Michelle Rodriguez and Hugh Grant.
Weird, right?
I'm starting to lose faith in this thing because, like, this is a real Suicide Squad of characters here.
It's a real mixed bag. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Weird.
everybody that's been blacklisted, come join our movie.
It seems like there's not a lot of information about it just yet.
I like Michelle Rodriguez too, but like she doesn't get a lot of work.
And when she does, it's not always in, because she's kind of typecast into, and maybe it's not typecast. Maybe she likes that, like
a character actor role, maybe
kind of character.
Yeah,
and that kind of character is commonly not in great movies.
Yeah, or they might be okay, but it's very specific types of movies. So when it's her, whatever. Michelle Rodriguez. That's the chick from Resident Evil, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I thought so.
Okay.
She's in one of them, right?
The first one.
Okay. Yeah. As I say, she's not in all of them.
No, that's only my girlfriend Mila Jovovich.
Oh, now you're just not even.
But she does come back. I think she's in one of the later movies, and that was like
really?
a reveal. Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, spoilers.
Those movies.
I think she comes back at some point in one of the really later ones.
As a zombie?
Probably
not.
As a. Those movies are terrible.
She's probably a clone or something.
Oh yeah, I forgot they did that weird stuff.
They do weird stuff in the later movies. That's when they started losing me.
Yeah, remember when they showed that there were like a ton of cool Alice clones at the end of that one movie, and then the beginning of the next movie they killed them all in the opening scene except for the one Alice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that franchise is great. Those movies suck. I don't care. The sequels are so bad they may have retroactively made the first one worse.
Yeah. You never really seemed to care for it though. I like the first one. The rest of them not so much, but the first one was good, I thought. Or at least okay. But then again, I never played the game. I never played the game, so I don't know.
Oh, there's like maybe they pull stuff in.
I think I watched up to the one where they were like 3D.
Oh, really?
And then I was like, they also were like pulling off the Matrix thing, like in that one where they had like a white room and they were all wearing sunglasses and black. And I'm like, what even is this movie at this point?
That's
Mm.
so. It's so bad. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Scene, but I have not watched that whole movie.
I think I watched one more after that, which was better than that one because that one sucked. But like that wasn't a high bar, and I
Didn't
was
we?
like, I don't think I'm doing this anymore.
Didn't we just hear about that guy recently? And he said he'll like there was some movie and he didn't do the sequel. So from now on, he's never going to quit on a series or something like that.
Yeah. He did the first Mortal Kombat movie,
Mm.
and then had an opportunity to do the second Mortal Kombat movie, and then was like, nah, I want to do this Hellraiser in space thing. So he
Mm.
went and did Event Horizon, and Mortal Kombat Annihilation was so bad. He's like, I'm never gonna quit a franchise again, dude. You probably
You couldn't have
should.
saved that.
You couldn't save that. And when you didn't quit a franchise, you know what? Box office will probably say otherwise. They kept making those Resident Evil movies for a long time, and I've seen the first one a bunch. It's not terrible.
Right.
But he probably should have quit that franchise.
Yeah. I
The
remember
second one
thinking the
was
first
so
couple were okay and at least entertaining.
Yeah.
Like they were good popcorn movies for a while,
Right.
and then they stopped being good in any respect.
Mm.
She's in the first car race movie with Vin Diesel. That's what it's called. Car race movie with Vin Diesel.
Car racing with Vin.
That's Michelle Rodriguez. That's where I think I first really took notice of her.
Was Girl Fight, which is a terrible
Okay.
name for a movie, but I
Right.
watched her in that, and I remember liking her in that. But that movie was like made for her, pretty much.
Mm.
So
Savannah, I love Event Horizon. I do too. I really
Yeah.
want to. What?
I think go ahead.
I think we all just love that movie.
Okay.
Like we're all like, yeah,
Yeah, I really want to revisit it, but I'm a little worried. I'm sure there's a lot of elements of it that don't hold up like I remember. But
Mm. That's something I wouldn't mind a remake of, honestly.
Event Horizon.
Yeah.
is it Gary Sinise in that, or is that a different one? No, it's somebody else. It's somebody else,
Yeah, I'm not. I don't.
not Gary.
Sam Neill.
That's who I'm thinking of. Sam
Okay.
Neill.
Okay. One more little short story before we get into the streaming wars. And this is something I don't care about, but people might. I don't know. Disney's Haunted Mansion finds its director in Dear White People, Helmer Justin Simeon. I don't know. Whatever. Haunted Mansion movie. You know, based on the ride.
Don't get it. I don't get it.
Didn't
I
they
know
have one of those back in the day with like Eddie Murphy or something?
2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one starring Eddie Murphy.
People love the Haunted Mansion.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Yeah, I don't know. A haunted thing for kids, fine, cool. A haunted mansion for Randy, made by Disney, I'm not interested, man.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, you put Watcher in the Woods on your streaming service, or don't ever talk about horror movies to me.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that movie? You can't find it. Watcher in the Woods was a Disney-produced horror movie from maybe the 70s, and it's amazing. It's so good. It's legit creepy. It's still kid-friendly. You watch that movie. Disney, put it on your streaming service. Stop being a wuss. Okay. Savannah says, I don't care about Haunted Mansion. Okay. Oh, she also says, I have a Event Horizon poster framed in my kitchen.
It's pretty awesome, actually.
All right.
The kitchen is... That's not where I would think to put a... I love that it's in your kitchen, though. It's not where I would think to put it, though.
I love how that movie just kind of takes a left turn where it's like when I went to it, I thought I was getting one thing, and then the twist happens, and I'm like, what is this show?
Yeah.
I'm kind of along for the ride at this point, but like, this is not what I thought I was watching.
Right. I think our news segment should just be called "We Turn All News into Event Horizon." Oh, her kitchen is murder themed.
It is.
Cool.
Wait, your house is kind of murder themed. I don't know.
Murder.
Okay, which one did I want to do? Okay, yeah, I want to do this one first because this, when I seen the headline, I was like, wait a second, is Sony going behind some people's backs? Okay, so Sony films like Spider-Man, set for Disney Plus and Hulu, but long after opening day release. That's from IndieWire.com. The original headline I had seen actually was like Sony makes deal with like Disney and Hulu to put Spider-Man and stuff on there, and their upcoming movies. They'll make exclusive or deals with them, and I'm like, wait, didn't we just do a story last week about, or the week before about Sony and Netflix making an exclusive deal? So I was very confused. So here's the thing. Yes, they did make a deal, as we previously reacted that. Sony and Netflix worked out a deal. So basically, after theatrical release and like a certain window, the first, whatever, the theatrical release window, because it's fine. The industry doesn't want to die. I get it. Netflix gets the first opportunity to stream like all their upcoming movies for the next couple of years. Like, Netflix, you want this? You want to license this to stream it or whatever. So that's what confused me about this story. Well, this story is Disney and Sony Pictures announced a major licensing agreement that will bring both library and upcoming film and TV titles to Disney Plus, Hulu, ABC, and FX, and other Disney-owned cable channels. They just own cable now, don't they? It's Disney and WB. The Pact, signed in blood.
Ooh, that's ominous. That does sound like what it is, though. I mean, like,
yeah.
That's oddly transparent. Well done.
The Pact, which covers everything from Spider-Man to Jumanji, is as sure a sign as ever that Sony will not be launching its own streaming service. That's actually a super interesting point and a good insight. Chris Lindahl on IndieWire.com. I hadn't really considered that. Yeah, if Sony's basically going around like, hey, let's make a deal with Netflix, let's make a deal with Disney, like, they're not gonna. That's fine. That's fine. I'm good with that. I don't need another one. I don't need a Sony one.
Sony's already into too much stuff anyway.
Right. They all are though. Like,
they basically own Spider-Man. They're like, listen, we own Spider-Man. In case you forgot. Spider-Man. That's us.
So here's the thing. Okay, the deal gives Disney US streaming and TV right. Let me rephrase. The deal gives Disney US streaming and TV rights for Sony's new theatrical releases from 2022 to 2026 and begins for each film following its Pay 1 TV window. I don't know what that is exactly, but the writer here is going to explain it because
it feels like they invented a thing so that they wouldn't be in breach of contract with Netflix.
Yeah. Pay 1 TV window. So is that like a play on day one? Because it's not, well, it's like not day one, but as soon as you can pay to own it, that's pay one? Whatever. I don't know.
It's probably just a tier. Like, pay 1 and it's this much and you get this. Pay 2 and you pay this much and you get this,
Here, that's why I like this article here. Here's the super simple breakdown. Under these pair of deals, distribution of Sony's theatrical films will look like this. First to theaters, then to VOD/DVD, then to Netflix, then to Disney. So, yeah. It's
kind of like how they slowly brought all the the Avengers movies over to Disney Plus, where it's like, okay, we made a deal with Netflix, so Endgame is still going to be on Netflix first, but then it's eventually going to be on and it wasn't even Endgame, because I think Endgame came with the streaming service, but there was like some weird gap where it's like you can only watch this over there, but eventually it will be over here.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, weird licensing deal. Thinking about Spider-Man, man, that just makes my brain hurt because yes, Sony has the rights to the Spider-Man is a Marvel character, so Disney owns Spider-Man, but
Right.
Sony currently has had the licensing rights to make movies and TV shows based on the character. So when you watch
Is
the
it
new,
even the TV shows? Like, do they own the TV shows too, or
oh,
does
maybe it's not the
Disney? I
TV
think
shows.
Disney has some like Spider-Man
Oh,
shows.
it might just be the movies then.
I think it's just movie rights. Yeah.
So then when you watch the movies, that's the whole big thing with the current like Spider-Man franchise or like sequels or trilogy, I guess. Like that deal worked out with them and Disney to kind of do a cross. Is super weird,
Mhm.
and
Right.
I mean, it's definitely beneficial to Sony.
Well, and Marvel too. Marvel
Right,
can't lie. You know.
right, and it's super weird. But then when the movie comes out, they're like, no, 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 Netflix first, right? Like
Mhm.
so, it's wow, what a headache of licensing deals, and I'm sure I don't know, man, how many lawyers, how
Mhm.
many lawyers are involved in that?
Spider-Man. Spider-Man does whatever a Spider-Man spins a web, goes to Netflix, comes right back to Spider-Man. Watch out, but watch for the Spider-Man somewhere.
That's catchy.
I just signed a nihilism pact.
A nihilism pact.
Yeah, the nihilism pact.
You don't break the nihilism pact. And if
You
you do, I
don't.
mean, what's it really matter anyway?
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nihilism pact. I think episode title right there. Just so people know what they're getting into.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is nothing that anybody cares about.
Hey,
Hey.
speaking of Netflix, Netflix's quarterly report card came out, and
This sounds awesome.
it's a little low. It's a little Netflix. You're not failing, but you could maybe put in a little more effort.
If you would stop talking so much to Sony, you'd get more work done.
They're probably like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to Sony.
If they
Sony, they're on to us.
if they'd stop canceling great shows for no reason that I know of, and stop pushing their mediocre shows, maybe they'd be doing okay.
So it's just for the quarter, right?
Okay, yeah. So basically, they're wait, which one was it? Yeah, the first quarter of this year, I guess, Q1 2021. They released whatever numbers.
It seems like
And-
everybody was still locked down and they should still be doing gangbusters.
Right? Yeah. I would think so.
People were starting to get vaccines, but people weren't like out and about.
Now this is covered by a bunch of obviously this is covered because the headline is it's an easy headline to write, but this is covered by a bunch of people. I'm pulling this from vulture.com because they have kind of an interesting kind of take on it, I guess. The Netflix subscriber slowdown isn't really a problem yet. Okay, you put the right tone on it. But basically the streamer added 4 million new global subscribers at the start of 2021, which is, oh man, I hate business, which is 2 million fewer than the 6 million it had projected. So like, yeah, it's down from what they had projected,
Mm.
but I know that's how business works. But
Well, that can make a big difference because if they were expecting that much, and you know how Netflix does, where they spend a bunch of money making content that they don't necessarily have. So if they were planning on an extra 2 million, that they possibly could have spent 2 million that they shouldn't have,
so obviously the narrative then instantly is like, is Netflix failing? Netflix is failing. They're losing the streaming war. I mean, I titled the episode. I put "Battle of the Streaming Services," whatever. But they pushed back. The Netflix chief financial officer, Spencer Newman, said on an investor video conference. I bet that was a fascinating watch. But
Newman.
he blamed the slowdown on COVID. He said that he blames the slowdown on COVID. It really
I
boils
suppose if
down to
people didn't have
programming.
money to afford it.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I think it seems like the angle he's actually taking is that it's a matter of because the projection was based on last year, the pandemic lockdowns at the start of 2020 artificially inflated growth last spring, making it tougher to grow this year. So basically, because of the lockdown they did so well at the beginning of last year,
Everybody's like,
that this
we
year,
need that Tiger King.
right?
What about Carol Baskin?
Think about that. Like, yeah, that was a huge thing. So, even I watched that. I don't know why. Everyone did. You had to. It was part of the lockdown.
It took everybody's mind off of it.
I never did finish it, actually.
The dude's terrible, man. Listen, that guy's a terrible guy.
They're legit writing laws because of that show.
Really?
Yeah, like you're not allowed to have just tigers.
Oh,
Like you have to be like a legitimate zoo or whatever. Like you can't just own tigers. At least that's what the law that they're trying to pass says.
Yeah, that makes sense. And even if not a zoo, you should at least be like a veterinarian or somebody who knows how to take care of a freaking animal or a wild animal. I mean,
yeah, that's fair.
I know this is not to do with anything, but I had a friend once, and they had a lot of strange animals, like chipmunks and whatever, and yeah, all kinds. So they had a baby alligator, and her boyfriend went out of town, and she was scared to feed it, so she just didn't. And I'm like, you should not have an animal. Well, I kind of was like, you just shouldn't have any animals, even though they did take care of the other animals pretty well. But I'm like, you shouldn't have an animal in your house that your partner is so afraid of that she would let it starve rather than feed it, you know?
Yeah, like not feeding it is actually going to make it more dangerous.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so I lost my. Sorry, I lost my place here. No, it's okay. I lost my place. Oh, and then the other thing is production lockdowns in 2021 or in 2020 kind of jacked up Netflix's timetable for new shows. And I mean, and returning for new and returning shows. And that's definitely true. Like, you know, there were a couple shows for sure that got canceled and they blamed it totally on just lockdowns. It's like, nobody's going to be interested. It's going to be too expensive. We're not going to do it anymore. Like,
Glow!
Yeah, Glow being like the most painful one. That was such a good show.
Right.
And they were actively filming the next season when they canceled it.
Right.
Or at least like had part of it filmed. That's bad to say.
Release the gorgeous ladies of wrestling cut.
Yep. Hashtag.
But it's every word. It's every word. It's not glow. The glow cut.
I mean,
it's the exact opposite of what a hashtag should be.
Yeah, it would make more sense to do it that way as a hashtag, but no, we're going to do it the long way, just so you know what we're talking about. So you can't really say anything about it other than the hashtag.
No. Basically, just release it. That's all we want.
So they also like, you know, that's also potentially a factor. But of course, everybody's like, yeah, but also, you know, what about all these new streaming services that didn't exist this time last year?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Netflix is like, no.
We're not worried about them. They're not really competition.
It's not that.
They don't have a bunch of great shows and movies that they've been releasing straight to their service.
So when asked, or at least, I don't know, they addressed it. Who is someone else? Is this someone else but Hastings? Okay, founder and co-CEO Reed Hastings argued that it's not an issue of the competition. Because they said Netflix research shows, basically they compared areas of the markets, like, areas of the markets with the competitors versus area of the markets at the same market areas that those other services haven't launched yet in, and they're like, it's not that big of a difference, they say. And he also went on to say, quote, I mean, we've been competing with Amazon Prime for 13 years and Hulu for 14 years. It's always been very competitive with linear TV too. So there's no real change that we can detect in the competitive
I
environment.
don't feel like
It's always
those
been
were real
high
competitors,
and
though.
remains high. Right.
Like Amazon was, they have some shows, but they're not. I don't know.
Well, no, yeah, exactly. Amazon
Seems
People-
like a thing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
People aren't like signing up for Amazon for just the shows. Like the only reason I want Prime is for the shows.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. People probably signed up for Amazon Prime for other reasons, and maybe they watched some shows. But
Right.
or they keep Amazon Prime for other reasons.
And then Hulu has some stuff that's like, like they're more television, like, and they're more like, okay, this show released an episode this week and you get it like a day or two later. Like that's what Hulu's good at. But like Netflix is doing its own thing. Disney Plus and HBO Max, those are actual competitors because they do exactly the same thing.
Competitors, yeah.
And
Direct competitors.
Yeah, because even the shows that Hulu does make, well, I don't know, did they make The Handmaid's Tale? Because that's pretty good. But for the most part, I don't know what that
I think that is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Hulu, yeah, they have some original stuff. And Handmaid's Tale has done well. But I don't know that they've had as many breakouts. Like, even Amazon, if they had more stuff like The Boys, and maybe it's just because I watched The Boys, but The Boys...
Well, and the Invincible is a good follow-up. It's the next big thing for them.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like shows that actually seemed like kind of a breakout.
Right.
Otherwise, like, they've had lots of original shows. Hulu's had a lot, but not a lot that have been big breakouts. Not like HBO has, which kind of like is beneficial to them branding their WB streaming service with HBO,
right,
and stuff, that kind of thing. And obviously Netflix is kind of took the market in terms of like what modern streaming services are through their series.
I don't know all that many people, but I don't know anybody who got rid of Netflix when they got new services. So I don't know that they're wrong that they're not being hurt by these new services, because it seems like, I know people who ended up getting like Disney Plus or HBO, whatever, but none of them got rid of Netflix to do that.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Weird as it is, like, and I'm sure this is not the case for everybody. Netflix is, even the other day I was like, man, there's nothing I ever watch on Netflix anymore. Like, at least not currently. Right. And I loaded it up, and we watched that movie on there, to be fair, but I loaded it up, looked around, I was like, and then I don't know, watch something else. But I wasn't like, time to get rid of Netflix.
Right.
When I'm thinking about like the streaming services I'm subscribed to, and I'm like, well, maybe I should trim the fat. I don't know.
It's not top of the list to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because they always have something, and something's always coming. Like Cobra Kai season 4 is coming. So
right.
Why would I get rid of it just in time for season 4?
Yeah.
And they do have enough of a catalog to where I can search through some stuff and maybe find something interesting that I've never heard of. They have quite a few, foreign TV series and stuff like that that I found some really good shows in. HBO Max, you search too deep and you're just gonna hit the bottom. There's not really all that much on
the same thing with Disney Plus. Like aside from the new stuff that's been coming out, I'm not using Disney Plus for anything.
Disney Plus is the worst and frustrates me. I was actively yelling at the app. I'm like, where is the adult section? Because why do other countries get it and we don't? They have a huge catalog of Fox's previous movies.
Right.
Movies for normal people, not just kids.
All the Predator movies could be on there.
Yeah. Where is all that? I would watch some of that. So.
Maybe it's on Netflix.
All the X-Men movies, like where are those?
I'm sure. This is my speculation based on nothing. I'm sure, like it can't not have had an effect on their subscribers, like slowing or whatever, or not growing the way they expected. It would have had to have, but I mean, I at least at this point, like the article title says, it's not really a problem yet. So,
you know what they have on there now that I don't like? I just got on there yesterday, and I was looking through stuff, and it was like, don't know what to watch? We'll just play something for you. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. You don't know me that well. It's always suggesting stupid stuff to me. I don't want to try to just pick my movies for me. That's such a stupid option. But for other people, maybe, because, yeah, after you spend like a half hour scrolling, looking for something, maybe you're just like, that's just anything, but not for me.
I find I'm constant. Hulu is such a like. The problem with Hulu is it's been so obviously the like streaming mask for cable. There are so many times where I'm like, oh, I want to watch this movie, or is this movie out yet? Every time, Amazon might have it, or it's for rent. But more often than not, it's not available anywhere, but it's streaming on Hulu. Then you click it, it's like, you must have the Cinemax add-on, or you must have the Showtime add-on, and you must have, and I'm every time. Like, I never watch, there's so many times I search for a movie to watch, and it redirects me to Hulu, and I've never watched movies on Hulu because they're all, like, locked under their cable subscriptions. And I'm like, no, that's not why I don't want that.
Yeah.
That's not why I'm here. Nope.
Right.
And I've never cared for Hulu anyway, because I don't understand how you're going to pay for something and it's still going to give you commercials.
Right.
Oh, I totally missed that part. Did I not save that article? No, it's in the next one. Okay, never mind. Are we ready for one more story? This is the last one.
Yep.
Snyder Cut. This is not Snyder News, Snyder Watch, by the way. Snyder Cut, Godzilla vs. Kong give HBO Max a Q1 subscriber surge.
Huh.
So, yeah, I mean...
nice follow-up to the last article there, yeah.
So Netflix was behind by about 2 million followers, or 2 million subscribers. Interesting, because HBO Max gained 2.7 million subscribers during the same quarter. I wonder where those people come from.
Weird. Huh. It's like a choice was made.
So, yeah, anyway, AT&T, I forget AT&T owns all that. God, they got to break these companies up.
Yeah. Oh, now we're worried about big tech. Now we're worried about antitrust laws that no one's enforced for years. But
there's been so many times over the years on the show, I've been like, what happened? Didn't monopolies used to be illegal? Yeah, no, I've since looked into it, and yeah, no, they just are now. They're just not. It's not an issue now.
Yeah,
well, the government has to like overlook.
No one cares
mergers.
until they have an opinion about something. And then they use their clout. Then we need to break up these big tech companies.
Right. Well, we can't. I just realized the irony of certain people being so against, certain groups being so against social media situations where it's like, wait, you're just mad because you can't regulate what people say about you on there.
Right.
So you want to regulate that industry, but I thought regulation was bad.
I got enough
when it benefits you, huh?
Yeah, I got.
No, let's not get. Let's not.
Go. Okay. Let's not have a frank discussion here.
Okay.
I'm sorry. If you can still say what you were going to say. I'm not trying to cut you off. I just was worried about. Yeah, we probably shouldn't go so super political, I guess.
Okay, that's fine.
I was trying to be vague, and it became very clear that I was not being vague enough.
I wasn't very vague from the onset, so. But if you guys want to hear us get super political, where we, generally speaking, don't censor this kind of thing for the broadcast show, that's on the Patreon. If you go to the Patreon, oftentimes you get a pre-show, a post-show, a bonus show. We just recently did that.
We did a post show. I was super. It's been a long time. Listen. Patreon listeners, hi, we missed you. Sorry, it's been so
And
long.
we do appreciate you.
We do appreciate you.
Yeah.
Sorry it's been so long. Yeah, we put up a post show which continues the tradition from back in the day of my favorite parts of a lot of episodes are stuff that's said before or after the actual episode. And fortunately, since I'm recording externally now, like I used to, those will actually get recorded and will most likely go up on the Patreon as on our Patreon page as stuff for our supporters. So patreon.com/Grawlix podcast, GRAWLIX podcast. If you want to throw us $1 a month or something, there's over 60 bonus episodes. I mean, we've been at it for a while. Okay, there's 60 episodes that you can only hear over there. So, and yeah, we will talk about whatever.
You go over there, you pay $1 a month, we will release the Patreon cut.
Yeah.
There's also lots of other stuff we would do if somebody wanted to go to a higher tier ever, maybe, huh?
Right. Okay, back on track. Yeah. So anyway, whatever. Like this, that's obvious here. Like it's just kind of been confirmed that yeah, they made a bunch. They made a bunch of money. They got a bunch of subscribers, and it's probably pretty obvious that it was boosted by releasing the Snyder Cut, and also like Godzilla vs Kong being available. Mortal Kombat's going to be out tomorrow.
So is that technically Q2 for them?
It must be. If
Makes me wonder if they didn't do that because they moved the date, right? So
right.
Like it makes me wonder if they were like, we're doing pretty well. Let's slide this. We can afford to slide this into Q2.
Interesting. Yeah, Did it? And it did. They pushed back the theatrical date too, right? Like they didn't.
I
just
believe
push
so.
Back the streaming? Okay.
But I couldn't say for a fact, but like
I think so. Yeah.
For their HBO Max numbers, take a look at that. They can still release it to the theaters, but at the same time be like, you know what, for HBO Max, we still slide it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We can make two people happy. Investors and the theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So what?
HBO has been oddly savvy about this for being the new kids on the block here.
Right. And they have been. I mean, that's why they took the chance of making a whole lot of filmmakers and a chunk of the industry angry by just being like, 2021 movies right on HBO Max. Like
Yeah. But I feel like they could kind of call their shot there and be like, hey, look, this is a thing we can do. We have options.
But maybe they.
Meanwhile, Sony's like, hey, Netflix, we've got options.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. They're like, listen, we're gonna be talking to Disney later, but we want to talk to you first. Disney don't need more. They have it all. We're the Spider-Mans. Trying to take out Spider-Man from us.
So let's make a pact.
Inked in the blood of our shareholders.
Oh, God.
Okay, so
that's the opposite of nihilism. That's like, I care a little too much.
Here's kind of the big thing about the story, though, and it's like maybe this was covered in other stories or whatever. It gets a slight mention, but they haven't really released a whole lot of details. But AT&T CEO John Stankey, I'm an adult and I'm mature. I'm not making any comments. John Stankey told investors that HBO Max's ad-supported subscription tier and the platform's international rollout will begin in June. So, let's see. This article from IndieWire.com goes on to say the former could prove to be key for the streaming service, which is more expensive. The ad-supported, the other tier, the ad tier, the Hulu tier, we'll call it.
Oh no!
Because HBO Max subscription costs consumers like $15 a month, $14.99 a month, which is more than most other competitors like Netflix.
Mhm.
Is that more? Yeah, Amazon Prime I guess isn't that much. Disney Plus, yeah. So they have not had they've not released a specific price date or release date or price point for the ad-supported version of HBO Max. You can get they're gonna do the Hulu thing where it's like
Right.
you can pay for this tier and have ads, or you can pay
If
for
they're
this tier
smart, they'll
and
make
have
that
no ads.
cheaper. They won't mess with the price
Dude,
that they've
that's
got.
the whole thing. Like if
Yeah.
I will drop them in a heartbeat if they
Oh yeah.
if
Mhm.
If they up the price,
they're like,
no,
hey, you get ads now, but you can pay more. It's like no.
no, you pull
Yeah.
that, gone.
To be honest, I'm not paying $15 a month. I signed up before they even launched to lock in like a lower rate
Oh
for like a
right,
year or something.
sure.
So, but I'm assuming in my heart I'm at the $15 tier, and if that becomes the ad tier, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd
in
be
my
ridiculous.
in my heart, you're worth maybe $15. Of course, you know I might come back once in a while to watch a little Suicide Squad or
Oh
you
sure.
know Dune. Depend. I'm not really that big a Dune, so I'm curious about it. I
Doom
guess
Patrol next season or whatever.
Yeah.
New season of Titans.
Doom Patrol. Oh, I'm still a season behind on Titans. I watched the first one. I don't think I ever watched the second one.
When they announced a season 3, so
Is oh wait, is that even them? Westworld, is that HBO?
That's HBO. Yeah,
Yeah. Are they gonna do another season of that?
I thought they were. I don't
I
know,
believe so.
man. That's such a good.
Might be the last season, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it seemed like they ended on a we're doing a season 4 note.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of did, but it kind of seemed like maybe they wouldn't too. I wasn't sure. It
Oh,
seemed,
they always do that though a little bit, with the exception of the
Mhm.
first season. First season was very, very much we're coming back.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. I mean, I want to know what's gonna happen, so I hope they do. But I don't see it playing. Yeah, you're right. They'd beat the last season. I don't think they'd go much further than that.
Maddie D would only pay $1 for subscription service. Why, sir? Whatever could you mean? Release the Patreon
you
cut.
know what? And he's not just talking out of his butt. He's putting his money where his mouth is, which is weird. Two sentences to follow up with each other.
That's the event horizon of sentences.
Because Matty D is one of our fine supporters over on patreon.com/Grolix podcast.
We salute you.
He looked at that and he'd say, I'd buy that for $1.
And then he
when
did.
he got like 60 bonus episodes and other miscellaneous things. Okay, so I found an article from February, last updated February 16th of this year, so a little old, but according to Looper...
But not Tekken 2 old. Just old.
No, not Tekken. I can't believe that. How... And I was all embarrassed this episode about, like, mistaking the one guy for the other guy and what we do in the shadows. But I handled that pretty well. That's the report. I did a report from like 11 years early, old, and I was like, "Oh, no, I don't know what you're talking about. It's fine."
Gaslighting. It's a thing we do to our audience. You're welcome.
Mhm.
Or are you? I don't know what you're talking about.
Sorry, I'm trying to scan this article.
Sorry,
what?
I was reading Maddie D's thing. Should have been Tekken 2, Electric Boogaloo.
I would have played that. I would have watched that 11 years ago.
So now, before season 3 had ended of Westworld, they had renewed it for season 4, but that was
pre-COVID.
Yeah. So plus that show, it is one of those shows that would take forever between seasons. It'd take like 2 years.
Mm-hmm. It's like Metalocalypse or Venture Brothers.
Man, Looper, come on, guys. Like, I get it, but Westworld 4 season release date, cast, and plot, what we know so far. So if we were to make a guess, we'd think season 4 would come out in 2022. That's not news. That's you hazarding a guess.
Mhm.
Right.
Educated guess, sure, but that's not news. I feel like this is, I mean, there's more information. They do have what we know so far, but like, you don't know anything. So I feel like this is more of a placeholder article, if anything.
Right.
There's a lot of articles when you search for like, will there be a season of this, that you click and it's like, you just,
We don't know, but we're going to talk about everything that's happened before now.
yeah, you just pump this art. You just put this here because you know it's going to get clicks when people search for this, but there's no actual useful information.
A lot of Cobra Kai news goes that way too, where
So
when we're in between seasons like this, they were like, what we got from a tweet was this. Here's what we do know.
I don't know what Matt's comment was. Yes, thank you for the Grolix by Gaslight.
Grolix by Gaslight was a Batman.
Yeah.
Arkham by Gaslight or whatever.
Gotham by Gaslight.
Gotham
yeah.
by Gaslight. There it is.
I like Grolix by Gaslight. That's good.
That's good. I like that. We should do like an old timey radio show and call it Grolix by Gaslight.
I like that a lot. That's yeah, that's a fun idea.
An old timey show, eh?
Well, see, Matt, at least this is verifiable. Hey, newsflash, there will be new TV seasons in 2022 of TV shows.
Wow.
Probably fact check that. You probably could.
Yeah.
Especially in 2022. Be like, you know what? This did happen. We were right.
Mm-hmm. But you make predictions like that, and then something will happen, like the magnetic poles will switch, and we won't have any electricity anymore, and you know, whatever.
It'll be everything by Gaslight.
You're right.
Yeah.
Everything will be Gaslight. We'll go back to film projectors.
We're still gonna be doing Grolix. It'll be Grolix by Gaslight.
Grolix by Gaslight, right there.
You come down to your local theater, and maybe we'll be there. Okay, that's it for news. Did we want to talk at all about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, or did we just want to move on to the end of the show? I mean, I guess I shouldn't have even mentioned it if that was the case.
I mean,
it looked cool.
It was a trailer. It looked fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you're our big samurai movie guy. You're our kung fu movie guy. What do you think?
Well, my initial impression was like, the issue with like this versus other things is, if it's placed in modern day, I have this weird like, I don't want to watch kung fu or samurai, or I realize that covers my bases. All right, you know, they got my Chinese and my Japanese, kung fu or samurai or karate, any of that. If it's placed in modern day, martial arts, I should have just said that. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it. No, it's not that I don't want to watch it. It doesn't have the same appeal. Right. So, that said,
it's got to be Cobra Kai otherwise.
This was interesting because it did look like good martial arts. The little bit it showed, you know, and of course it's a trailer, so it's got like a nice driving beat, and it's, you know, kind of cool. It looked, and then it also has like the more fantastical superhero-y Marvel stuff going on. But honestly, that didn't feel that out of place because it looks like a lot of modern martial arts movie trailers I've seen. It's not uncommon for them just to go wild. They like to go wild with like sci-fi elements and stuff in modern martial arts. So that looked right in place. The most like kind of jarring thing was then it also has the like Hollywood blockbuster Marvel movie like attitude, like the like kind of wisecracks here and there, and like weird action sequences that you
like the bus driver's like, we make a good team at the very end. We're like, and you could just about like guess that this last thing is either going to be like a cameo of someone you didn't even know was going to be in the movie, or it's going to be a joke. It's going to be the comedic relief beat. The trailers are trailers have been formulaic for a long time, but that is but Marvel trailers in particular,
that's the current meta.
Yeah, it's either boom, this guy's in the movie and you didn't know it, or boom, here's a funny thing,
here's a joke.
Here's a Paul Ruddism.
Did the same thing. That's just, even the Mortal Kombat trailer where it's like it kind of sets it up and then it ends with a Kano line, and so
It looks interesting. I'm interested to see how the heck they're going to weave in the 10 rings, because they already kind of played that card weirdly with Iron Man 3 with the Ben Kingsley Mandarin character. So like, how are they going to play that? Like, are they going to address, they have to address it, right?
You'd think they would, because the characters, they have the Mandarin in there, like this, but it ain't Ben Kingsley because it ain't Ben Kingsley because Ben Kingsley's character wasn't.
Well,
the
will they
Mandarin. He
even
was just-
call this character the Mandarin, or will
Yeah,
they?
no.
Will it be a different character that has access to the 10 rings?
I was reading something where there was one character that it would have traditionally been from the comics, but they're like, no, we're not going to use that character because they're just kind of a horrible stereotype that we don't want to embrace. Which
Well, the Mandarin is a terrible, horrible
Right.
Yeah.
stereotype.
and
So
then another element was, yeah, there were characters where they're like, and these characters were too, but we want to, like, I guess ignore those stereotypes, but like get rid of them. We want to do the character properly, not make it just a stereotype.
right.
So like,
They'll reboot them.
I mean, anytime, especially
So just make him Tilda Swinton.
Right.
that's how you get away with whitewashing anybody.
Yeah.
It's Tilda Swinton.
We'll do. Will Tom Hiddleston them, or will Tilda Swinton them, or will David Bowie them? But we can't David Bowie them, so we'll have to CGI someone.
Fu Manchu. Is that
Oh,
the one?
yeah.
That
could be,
is
yeah.
the son of Fu Manchu. So
Right? Yeah, I think
Fu
that's
Manchu,
right.
they're
I was
not-
trying to remember who is Shang-Chi's dad, because that's the big thing, is that Shang-Chi was supposed to, take over the evil empire kind of thing, and he basically went against his entire family.
Mm-hmm.
Fu Manchu.
I'm a low-key fan of Shang-Chi, so I'm excited about this movie. I hope it does well. It deserves. We needed this more than we needed Iron Fist.
Oh, yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, and it wasn't intentional, but it's timely in a way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So long as they handle things right, like, yeah, good. People will appreciate it, I think.
Yeah.
And wise decision not to use Fu Manchu, because I think Fu Manchu is known very well.
I feel like I
It's-
repressed that name, man. That's probably true.
It's hard.
I trust
to, like,
Matty D on this,
Yeah, I think he's right.
because I think in more recent years they just refer to him as father. Like, because I've read a couple more recent Shang-Chi runs, and of course his dad plays in, but I don't think they call him by name. So there's that.
There
I'm
you go.
waiting.
He'll just be a generic father. They don't have to name who he is.
Will we get a Fing Fang Foom? Probably not.
I'm waiting for when Disney finally decides to cross over Marvel and Star Wars, so we can get a season of the Mandarin and the Mandalorian.
The Mandarin DeLorean.
Oh, okay. Oh, Maddie D says, I just wish they would have made it a period piece and set it in the 70s.
Oh, that'd be
Embrace
great.
The Bronze Age, right?
I hope,
Bronze Age.
yeah, that'd be great if we had like a flashback so we could see Shang-Chi with the ridiculous long hair with the headband on top of it, which is
Now-
like the original Shang-Chi like design.
I know this is different. It's a different culture. But that's part of why I liked season 1 of Luke Cage so much, because Luke Cage came from, or at least felt at home in the like 70s blaxploitation type era. And even
Sure.
though Luke Cage was placed in modern day, they had the music and kind of even like a little bit of the color scheme was a little dictated by that kind of like 70s style. And so I love that. So yeah, listen, put them all in different periods. I'm down for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jessica Jones seemed really like depressing 80s to me.
And that
Had kind of a grunge era type vibe to it almost.
Mm-hmm. or like who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of a band, but I shouldn't be. But you know,
Forbidden Band.
well, not forbidden, but
The Cure.
yeah, probably that's what I'm thinking of. I
That
think.
was like late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, well, and Jessica Jones was straight out of the 90s. The character was straight out of the 90s for sure.
She should have worn more eyeliner and dark makeup. Yeah.
Maddie D totally loved the Luke Cage 70s feel. Me too, man. Luke Cage, that was one of the shows, one of the Marvel. Maybe they'll surprise us at some point, but they're not going to bring in the Netflix character, like the Netflix versions of these characters.
Right.
I don't think, because Kevin Feige did not appreciate those shows for whatever reason. Luke Cage was good, and that was one of the shows I was really bummed that got canceled, because it's one of the few ones that got canceled with like it still like was working. It set up the next season plot line. Luke Cage was going bad, or that's the way it seemed, or he was embracing whatever, and it didn't get to resolve it. Jessica Jones, they knew they were canceled. Daredevil kind of set something up, but in a way like.
But they kind of knew that the writing was
also
on the
knew.
wall, so they were like, "Yeah, this
They
is pretty much
perfectly,
done
like,
too."
Looped that series, yeah. So
Just so long as, like, there's been all these hints that maybe we'll see Charlie Cox's character again. You know, look, so his Daredevil will show up somewhere. Just don't ever Evans Peterson or us again, or Peter Evans or whatever his name was.
oh yeah,
Don't give me
Quicksilver-esque.
another Ralph Boner.
What a disappointment that was. Don't Disney, you don't dare give me any more Ralph Boners.
Don't. Especially
Ralph
a
Boner.
Snyder cut Ralph Boner. I don't need a 4 hour. I'm gonna have to like call my doctor.
Snyder cut Ralph.
You call
Boner.
your
It's Ralph
doctor.
Boner.
If your Ralph
Snyder.
Boner
I call it
lasts more
Snyder
than 4
on
hours.
cut.
Yeah.
So we were talking over each other. I don't know who got through on the stream, so I'm gonna repeat my dirty joke. I call it Snyder on cut.
Oh.
Right. Netflix's Marvel shows were really good. It's a shame Kev F didn't bring it to the big mouse. Yeah, I mean, the Defenders series I enjoyed at the time. For whatever reason, it was a little forgettable, but I do wish the big team up season would have been better.
I think Iron Fist just ruined them all, because how are you gonna take like the most martial arts of the shows and then not have a guy that knows martial arts be the star? It looked like crap.
It was definitely the turning point for like public perception of the Marvel Netflix series.
Yeah.
Because before that, I only had ever heard good things, and after that, more and more I'd start.
They started to get a lot more critical, yeah.
And not even just of Iron Fist, of all the shows. And
Like, Punisher got some pretty critical reviews, especially of season 2. And I didn't mind season 2. I thought they pulled in some interesting stuff overall. But there was some stuff where like, okay, I'm not sure where this is going.
I don't think we finished season 2. Now that it. We got pretty far into it. I don't know what happened. We just forgot about it.
The Jigsaw stuff was really good, but there was some other stuff where it's like, I'm not sure what that was about or why we needed it.
You're still too pretty, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think that's why I stopped watching. I'll say that.
Jigsaw's too pretty. Yeah. That pretty boy.
All right. Hey, Melanie. What should we be amazed about?
I actually don't know. I didn't find anything.
We can skip it.
Such a nihilist response.
Wait, what? Nothing.
I really don't know what you could even be amazed about.
How about unless you found something already? Let's do the spider thing that we didn't do last week when we decided to talk about battered women and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So scientists. I'm guessing maybe they did a bunch of like images with cameras all around, but they had spider webs that they made 3D models of with, I'm assuming 3D printing or something. But and they gave them each like a note, like a musical note. And then like where you move on it and where it connects and stuff will, like, when you touch it, it changes the, what is that? Frequency or something? I don't know. I'm not a music person. I don't, but yeah, so the noise will change depending on what's going on in the web, and where in the web and whatnot. And they wanted to do that really so because, you know, we can't feel vibrations the way that spiders do, because that's, you know, how they live is by vibrations. But so they made it musical so that we can hear or recognize patterns and repeating things, you know. And their hope, I guess, is that they'll be able to communicate with spiders through vibration in the future. Spider mermaids.
Who will get to stream that first? Will it be Netflix or will it be Disney Plus?
The spider web?
Yes. Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, if they call it Spider-Man, probably Netflix.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. They made
Into the Spider-Verse because it's musical.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they have to make Spider-Man like a rock star or something, or I guess maybe not rock, maybe like synthwave or something.
I'd prefer Into the Spider Chorus. And then once they drill that into the ground, it could be Into the Spider Reprise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I already said it last week when we kind of touched on what we could have talked about instead of the abusive tweets was well, we don't need to talk to spiders. It's fine, leave them alone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to know what they have to say. They probably say, "I could kill you, suck your blood."
Yeah, but maybe it's just, or maybe they're gonna do one of those. I don't know why they have nanobots. Just use those. But you know, they were always talking about, you know, weird stuff like we're gonna train them to go into burning buildings and find survivors, or, you know, stuff like that. And spiders are small; they can get into a lot of places. They can go up the water spout and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. See, they teach us at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, it is an interesting story though, because for one, just thinking about the way that spiders use webs to basically perceive like what's going on. It's not like something comes into their web and they look over and like, oh hey, they feel it, and then they know where in the web it's at and all that. And the kind of visual and music representations of how various you shared an article with me present that is interesting. Spider music sounds appropriate. Their interpretation of spider music, basically taking the vibrations and being like, here's the tone that would be associated with, is appropriately horrifying and unpleasant.
Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's still interesting.
This joke. Maddie D, what spiders say? Oh, Mom, not fly insides again. Okay. Hey, Jesse, you got anything exciting coming up or anything you want to talk about?
You guys should check out Danny O'Mani 1987, or not 87, 1978 on TikTok. He posted a video of my dad, which is awesome. It's like going semi-viral right now. It's awesome. So, yeah, you can use my dad as a sound for your TikToks. And he's essentially mocking the fact that we're making a silly movie. It's awesome.
I kind of overheard you talking to Randy about it earlier. So it's like, is this old footage from your childhood?
Yes, old footage. Yeah, like taken on one of those brick cameras that you had to carry like an old school boom box. And I think we had it probably up on a tripod at least. But my brother's like doing kicks in front of the camera. And then my dad walks out of the next room and he's like, ho, aren't we cute? And just laughing at my brother because he's all like done up in a costume and whatnot. It's pretty funny. And like people are loving it. TikTok's weird. It's perfect for TikTok. We were ahead of our time.
I feel like because you were away from college already, but I used to go hang out at your family's house all the time, and because me and your other two brothers had a band. And we'd rock out in the barn We'd
Yep.
literally go rock out in the barn. But I feel like so much. Your dad spent a lot of time just being consistently amused by the
Right.
ridiculous thing that you guys were doing.
Whatever we
Whatever
were
it is at
doing, it
that
was like,
time.
what are you guys? I don't want to know.
Right.
Yeah.
And appropriately so.
Yeah. And then he would point out the ridiculousness of it with some kind of quick quip.
Mhm.
And it would be like and years later you'd be like, yeah, you know what, that is kind of ridiculous what we were doing. But whatever. You still let it happen.
I can picture like people laying on the ground and somebody trying to jump them with their bike, and he's just sitting there like, yeah, okay.
It's like, hey, do you need any help there?
Mm,
Something ridiculous like that.
mm.
Somebody gets landed on. Well, that'll
Dad,
happen.
you ruined the shot. We got to do it again. Okay, but you're fine though, right?
All right. Well, hey, I don't have any like special humble bundle set up this week, but the one that we talked about last week is still going on. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. Oh, I should have. I had the perfect segue. D&D. We talked about the D&D movie.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Rewind. Also D&D. If you want to like catch up on, bone up on a little D&D stories, Humble Comics bundle has a new and classic D&D comics by IDW, and grogspodcast.com/IDW bundle. If that doesn't work for you for whatever reason, because it's a redirect. That is also, by the way, an affiliate link. We are a humble partner. This is not a paid sponsorship, but that is an affiliate link. We may make money if you use it. Go to our website, grogspodcast.com, and find the banner on there if that link doesn't work for you.
Be it ever so humble, there's no place like our homepage.
Otherwise, listen, you don't have to do that. I'm just saying, if you do it that way. Otherwise, just go to grogspodcast.com. That's where our stuff's at. Follow us on, iTunes and all that. You're supposed to say follow on iTunes now, not subscribe. iTunes is doing a whole thing with podcasts. Because you will soon be able to actually subscribe to podcasts for money on iTunes.
Oh.
But you don't have to. Anything that's free currently, unless podcasters decide to change their feed, is still going to be free. But that's why I say follow on iTunes.
They realize they're not the only place you can get podcasts anymore.
Right. Actually, I'm not even doing that right. It's not iTunes, Apple Podcasts specifically.
Oh, right.
Oh, which is
All these- a lot of the big places have their very specific wording they like. Especially Apple has been very particular for a long time. Nobody cares. Whatever. I'm a podcaster. That's things that are interesting to me.
But you subscribe to an RSS feed. Weird.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you do. I don't know how you would follow one. You can. I mean, it's the same thing. Oh, Matty D says, I got to change a script. Yeah, it's supposed to be follow on Apple Podcasts now instead of subscribe. Anyway, all in all, it's a good thing. It just takes, especially when it comes to podcasts, for whatever reason, despite being like kind of pivotal in the popularization of them, it takes Apple about 5 to 10 years behind where they should to update their things.
Right.
It took them forever to finally give us any kind of like analytics tools or anything.
But that's because they're used to being like, it's an upgrade with like one thing different. But you got to pay $1,000 for it, and they're like, well, they're not even paying us for it, so we don't need to give them anything different.
It's a new Apple phone, but you're gonna have to charge it differently, and you're gonna have to buy new kinds of headphones because it's waterproof.
Yeah, that drives me crazy.
Phones not having headphone jacks irritates the crap out of me.
Yeah, me too.
I actually was going to upgrade to, I don't know if it was going to be a new Samsung or a Pixel. I don't know. I was looking at a couple things. And the reason I kept deciding, nah, I'll just stick with what I have is no headphone jack.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I get that you can get Bluetooth headphones, but like...
There's a delay. I ran into that recently with a video where I was like, oh, I've got the mic on my headphones. I'll just use that. But it was a Bluetooth set. And it was like, no, there's a delay. So I was trying to do something that would sync with video, and you can't because there's that lag.
Yeah, that's spoopy.
I don't know what Maddie's working on, but he says, "Dang it, you tried directing it." Oh, it's probably either comics with my kids or I got a new book or whatever. Dang it, you tried directing an 8 and 10-year-old to change what to say.
It took him like 12 episodes to get the original script.
I mean, listen, it doesn't matter. I still find myself saying subscribe on iTunes, and they changed that a year.
Call and response, Matt. It's call and response. You say it, they say it, and you edit yourself out.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's smart. That's
Teacher.
smart. Yeah, just get them recording. Get a recording of them saying it once, and then just use that recording every time.
Yep.
Okay, so that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You know, sometimes it's hard to pull out of a nosedive, so we're doing fine. This whole episode, I'm like, man, I need more energy, dude. This is like still full. I should have just chugged my Monster before the show. That's the problem.
Oh, God.
I don't have my artificial stimulants. Okay, bye everybody. Take it easy.
Bye.
Have a good night.